Well, welcome to American TESOL Presents Free Friday Webinars. I'm Shelly, and we're actually going to be talking about Google tools. So let me start that at the beginning because I don't know why it's not at the beginning. So welcome everyone, and it's free every single Friday, so you can bring a friend. You can get a certificate as well of completion that you attended the webinar, and I will give you here. Oh, is it a little low? Here, let me make it louder maybe. Is that better or is that worse? Does that sound okay? It's okay? Okay, good. So welcome to American TESOL Presents Free Friday webinars, and you can find all the links at the bit.ly address, which is bit.ly/capital ELTLINK lowercase s, ELT link. And you'll get a certificate. You'll see the slide presentation there already, and you'll also be able to see, you'll be able to download the resources. So you have plenty of things. Today we're going to talk about Google tools, and I love Google tools because Google is, a lot of people get worried about Google as an empire, but I like it. And there's a few reasons why I like Google. One of the reasons is because a lot of the apps that have been there for a little bit, this isn't always the case, but a lot of the apps mean that you have access, they integrate all of their apps. So if they've developed something such as YouTube, you can see how great YouTube is. They can link to other different types of apps that they've created too. So YouTube is part of Google Plus and Google Hangouts. So they can make a sweep of things that all work together in great harmony. So they make some really incredible tools. The other thing is there's a little bit more longevity. That's not always the case. They're getting rid of Google Reader and they are getting rid of Google Alerts. So these are things that you do have to be aware of. Nothing is definitely permanent as far as technology goes. But with Google backing it, they do have the funding and things like that. So some of the tools will have a longevity. Google Reader and iGoogle and Google Alerts have been there for many, many years. So there's definitely always something there. But don't worry if you don't know how to integrate technology effectively or anything like that, because Google is very ready to help you. They have everything kind of planned out for you. They pretty much, there's a saying, there's an app for that. Well, there's a Google tool for that. It's a new thing that I like to come up with, that there's a Google app for that pretty much. And which means that you as a teacher, if you're new to all of this technology integration, you can go to one place, you can look for all these tools, and you can see all the great tools that you have available to you once you have a Google account, and they're free. So you can do it. They'll offer you a lot of help, and there are so many things to make your life easier and more organized, and I'll show you how to do that. So I do a lot of training with Google, and usually it's funny because I'll do the training to show for education purposes, and then the institution actually ends up using the Google apps to kind of organize themselves. So they don't use it for teaching necessarily. They integrate it in their administration system. So it works for that as well. I'm going to show you 10. There's hundreds of them, but I'm only going to show you 10. So the first one is Google Chrome. Google Chrome is a browser. It's a browser like Firefox, like Safari. The reason I use Google Chrome is because it is a browser on the go. When you have Google Chrome, you can go to any computer anywhere. Let's say you're going to a friend's house and you don't want to waste time. You have your bookmark. For example, here are all my bookmarks. I have this on my browser. Anywhere I go, I can go to an internet cafe and then I can just log into my Google account and my Google Chrome browser will be there. As long as there's a Google Chrome, which is a free download, so I can download it at any hotel, computers, and things like that, or a friend's house, then I can open up my Google Chrome browser, and all my links are there. It remembers past places I've been. It puts on the front page. I chose this setting. It's a very beautiful cloud setting that I chose. It remembers a lot of times different tabs that I've had in the past. It remembers my history. So it does all of these wonderful things. It remembers the extensions and the apps that I've had. It makes it very easy. You can click on any of these. It puts a thumbnail of the past websites that you have visited, the ones that you most visit as well. So these are things that you can see, and it makes it very convenient. It saves you so much time from remembering this. If you choose, it'll remember your passwords as well. There are two things in Google Chrome. You have, well, there's quite a few things, but you have different bookmarklets and extensions. Bookmarklets and extensions make your life easier because they work with other apps that were not developed by Google. For example, Digo. So you can see here my Digo extension. So anytime I click that, I no longer have to go to Digo and add a link. So what I do is I click this, and all of a sudden, it comes up with a little tiny box at the corner of my screen, and then I can just bookmark in seconds like that. I have one for 19 pencils. You can see I have one for my pearl trees, and I have one for Bitly. Bitly is a shortener, so anytime that I have a Google Doc or anything like that, which I'll talk about next, then it will go ahead and it's going to allow me to shorten any URL so I can share quite easily. I can add in presentations. So the extensions are really, really fantastic. That's the top of the bar on the corner. That's where the extension is. Bookmarklets are a little bit different. Now, bookmarklets are really wonderful as well. I have one for Pinterest here. I have one for my blog. You can take any website, and what you do is you just drag it and you put it up on here, and it becomes a bookmarklet. So when I click it, like when I click my Live Binders bookmarklet, it does the same thing as Digo. It lets me bookmark in seconds. I don't have to go to the website. I don't have to copy and paste the URL. Wherever I am on a website, it'll automatically bookmark it for me. It has one for my Groove Shark, one for my Google Translate if I need to translate anything. So my Scoop It, I can put any kind of bookmarklets there, and it just makes it very quick. I save so much time. I probably save hours and hours. So this is what it looks like. These are apps that you can get as well. So Google does come with apps that you can have. And so you have on the bottom, if we go back to here, you have the most visited. And then if you click on apps, then you'll have the apps as well. These are things that you've decided to choose. On mine, I have the Google Chrome Web Store. I have Gmail as an app. I have Google Calendar. So I can just click these very, very quickly. World Time Buddy, which tells me there's different time zones, and it helps me so I'm not late to these webinars so much. The Google Search, it has TweetDeck, Google Reader, which no longer is in existence. And then it has other things that Google has made. Sometimes Google's will come up with their own innovative things. This Way to Oz is this interactive program. If I click it, then it takes me through Oz through a Google map. It's a really cool kind of learning thing. So the number 2, now these are not in any particular order. They're not like in preference of what I think is the best Google tool, because I'm the kind of person who can never choose. I don't have a favorite ice cream flavor or anything. I have my moods. This is really great and this is really great. But these are the ones that I think that I use all the time, and I find it especially helpful that I don't find that other types of things do. So I haven't found another browser that is as wonderful as Google Chrome. I absolutely love Google Chrome. It is the best browser in my opinion. And I've tried quite a few browsers. Google Drive. Google Drive is absolute favorite. I still use Dropbox, so it's not like it's a replacement for Dropbox, but I do use it a lot more than I use Dropbox. There's a reason why. It's a cloud tool. What I mean by the cloud is, okay, so in the internet, you can save information, and this is very, very helpful. People get scared about it, but for people like me who do a lot of work online, it's really, really helpful. It saves me so much time because I'm a teacher trainer. I travel quite a bit. My students, your students, they're going to travel. They're going to do work in the computers at the lab in your at your school, and then they're going to go home. And wouldn't it be really great if they could work on the same document that they had at school? They can with Google Apps. So Google Drive allows for this. It saves things in this imaginary internet cloud. There's all this information saved in cyberspace, lots of gigabytes. So it's not on your computer, which is great. So you can access it, for example, on a mobile device. You can access it anywhere that you have a tablet, like an iPad or something. You can access it on that. So there's quite a few things that you can access by being on this imaginary cloud. It's free. They give you so many gigabytes. Google Drive gives you a lot more gigabytes than you would have on any other type of one that you have. So for example, Dropbox, it gives you way more than Dropbox and BoxNet, but I still use those. So you can, with Google Drive, you can create collaboratively. You can organize and share folders. So you can put things in a folder and then you can share with everybody. I still like some certain things about Dropbox a little bit more, but that's okay. It has a free mobile app for all devices, for your iPad, for your Android, for your Windows 8. So Google Drive has an app. I think when I first turned on my Android phone here, the Google Drive app was already installed. So it's very intuitive. One of the best things I love about Google Drive, I travel a lot. I've been to 26 countries now. And I'm in the UK, and last week I came to you from, I think, Croatia, and the week before from Slovenia. So I'm always traveling. And so one of the great things about Google Drive is when I'm in an airplane, which sometimes I'm in an airplane for 13 hours, I can work offline. Google Drive will show up on my browser, and then what I do is I can create my workshop handout, I create my PowerPoint, I update my spreadsheet with receipts. It has so many different things. And as soon as it goes to an internet connection, as soon as I get to the hotel and there's an internet connection, it automatically updates whatever I worked on offline. That saves me so much time, because imagine that your students don't have internet access, or you don't have internet access in the classroom. They can still use their computers, they can still use their mobile devices, and they can work on Google. And then as soon as they get home, and if they have an internet access at home, then all of a sudden it'll update their projects, which I think is very good. So you say we work on things collaboratively. So your students can work on the same thing as a group. And what happens is it saves different versions of it. So then you can look at the different versions that were saved, and you can revert throughout history what those versions were. This is what Google Drive looks like. You can add different folders. I have different folders for all kinds of things. It has drag and drop features. I love the drag and drop. You can see I've only used 11%, and look how much stuff that I have that I've created. I can have PDFs, I can have spreadsheets, I can have all kinds of things in my Google Drive. These are all the people that share their documents with me. It lets me sort things out, and it lets me search my documents. It's really fantastic. It's like having an external hard drive, but online, that goes with you everywhere. Every time that I log in to my Google Drive account, then I have all my files anytime I need them. It's a great collaborative tool. So part of that is Google Presentations. Google Presentations will go to Drive. Google Presentations is like PowerPoint. So you can upload the PowerPoint that you've already created. You can see me and Leo Sullivan. We have both gone and we have created this PowerPoint together. And so we can add the slides. We can add hotspots. So when you access this type of webinar, if I was to show you this and we were all in the same place, I could present it and it would go when I want it to go for you. So when I'm doing teacher training, this is really a good type of tool to have. You can use this as a teacher training tool, and all of them that have the computer will switch to the slides because you control it. But the other great thing is it makes it a hotspot. So for example here, I would have to go, after uploading my PowerPoint on Adobe Connect, I have to go and I have to embed different types of links. I have to do that for Illuminate as well. Sometimes actually the links do come out, but then they're like blue, so it doesn't look as good. But with the Google presentations, you can make hot spots. So then when people click on the slide, they go to the resource that you wanted them to go to. So that's very good and easy because it's a presentation where they can just click and then they can go. So it makes it very nice. Let's say you wanted to click on the resource right now, like you saw Google presentations and you thought, oh, I want to go click on that. You can't because it's not a hotspot like that. You can reverse changes. It's a free app. You can do this on a mobile device as well. You can embed it on a website, on a wiki. You can embed it on your own personal blog space. So that way when you want to collect all the student presentations, you can have it embedded. You can see the slideshow and you can click through it. So it's really quite nice. Google Docs, it's collaborative writing. That's how I get my students to do mobile learning, is I'll have a Google Doc created for them and I say fill it out. So I make it editable so they can fill it out. So we can create a document together. We can upload a Word or open Office document. We can have a group chat on the side while we're collaborating and while we're creating and we're writing this document together. We can reverse changes. We can work offline and save offline as well and add comments. We have different privacy options as well. So I'll show you that. So this is what it looks like when you click on the top and you do the chat. You can chat together right there. You can type and you can see me. Okay, Peggy asked a very good question. She says, can you embed videos on Google Docs or does it have to be Google Sites? That is a good question. It has to be a Google site. You can embed a picture, but you can't embed a video. You have to do it on a Google site. And Google site is another one that I'm not talking about, which is a really good tool as well. You do have the option though, it's really cool. You have the option to make it when you share it. So you have share options. You can give people the link. You can have it to where anyone can edit it. You can change this and it could be anyone can view it. It could be only those you invite. You can add people who can edit it and everyone can view it. You can have it to where it's private. You can even make this, you can put something called publish to the web. And when you publish to the web, then it will allow you to make it into a Google site. So then from there, you can make it. So let's say you work on this document and collaborative and you think after a session, because a lot of people do this for sessions now. They go to a workshop and they create a workshop and then they say, okay, well, we're all going to create this Google Doc together. We're going to be together for this. They can put publish to the web and they can make it a Google site, what they all worked on, and then they can embed videos from there. And here are the privacy options: public on the web, anyone with a link, or private, only the people that you want. So for my students, I make it very private, and then I add their email addresses. But for workshops, I put anyone with a link, and then they usually can view it. They can make a copy of it. If you go under file right here, you can make a copy. So let's say you have a workshop handout. A lot of times I'll do the same workshop. A lot of times you'll do the same lesson with students. A lot of times this particular lesson here, group 17, I made 20 copies or 30 copies of this particular form for my students to share. So all I had to do was click on file and make a copy, and I could make lots and lots of copies of it. And so it made it quite easy. So I love Google Docs. The other one is Google Calendar. Google Calendar is really incredible. I went to a Teach Meet in Toulouse where I was the plenary. And they did these little mini presentations, and one of the professors there used it with his high school students, his teenagers, and he was showing how he used it to create alerts for himself and his students. He would alert them when they had tests. It would automatically alert them when they had any kind of task, homework. You can alert parents as well on the same kind of format. You just create one event and then all of a sudden it's there for them. Google Calendars I use to organize different things in my classroom. It's great for classroom management. So each week I have a student leader or a couple of students that are in charge of different things. For example, if we have a weekly podcast, students take turns to be in charge of that podcast. So it says on the Monday calendar, and then it can alert them individually. You can have it to where it even alerts them on SMS. So if your students allow it, they can go ahead and they can go ahead and they can be alerted on SMS. Your parents can be alerted on SMS. Oh, your children have a report card coming up. They have a progress report card. They have where it's only one time that they have to allow this SMS, And then the parents are always noted. They know when they have to get a test signed. They know when progress reports come out. They know when they have to sign a field trip form. So it makes it to where it makes them very responsible. So you get more responses, you get more activity, and students will be more successful. The next one is Google Forms. This is where you can create an online survey. They have different templates like this. They make it look very, very beautiful. Your students just fill in the information. They can create a form to fill out. You can embed this in your wiki, on your Google site. If you create a class Google site, you can put it on there. And then it gives you analytics. Let me show you what the analytics look like. So for this particular one, I had 75 females fill it out. I had 9. It puts in these pretty graph forms for me. It puts it in pie charts. It puts it in a bar graph. I didn't do any of this. All I did was click something that said fill out the, to give me a report. And when I used this, it automatically showed me everything in a nice, pretty graph form. And then I can show my administration this. So you can do this. I use Google Forms to survey my students at the beginning of the year to ask them what kind of technologies they have available to them, what kind of technologies they use at home. They use Facebook, and this kind of helps me with gearing what kind of technologies we'll use in the class. So there's quite a few different things that you can do with a Google form. If I'm doing research for my master's or anything like that, it's a real easy way to tweet a link and then have people fill it out. And then afterwards, with your dissertation and things like that, you need to show the graphs. Well, it's easy because Google already does it for you. You don't have to do it. It saves you so much time. Okay, Peggy has mentioned something really important. She says that there's a world clock gadget on Google Calendar, and it can show you what time an event is in different parts of the world. So that's really fantastic. I forgot to tell you what I use Google Alert for as well. I use Google Alerts to remind me as well. So here's my Google Alert. It's a free app as well. And every day when I have it, it pops up. It gives me a pop-up message. I can choose for it to give me an SMS message, a pop-up message, and it also will tell me, Google is my personal planner, so it'll tell me, I can make it say 10 days in advance, an hour in advance, it'll tell me. So here, it also tells me things like, I have it remind me and come up with pop-ups. For example, on this particular pop-up, it tells me every day. It gives me options to repeat it or not. It gives me the calendar, but it tells me different motivational messages for me. Like this particular one, it says, exercise, you're a gem, so treat yourself like one. So every day at about 10 o'clock in the morning, anywhere that I'm in around the world, it pops up with this. It does it in the time that you're at, and then it gives me these motivational messages. Okay, how did the motivational message get there? I created it as an event. So exercise, and then I have 6 or 7 events a day. You can also share these calendars with different people as well. We use calendars to go ahead and to allow us to organize conferences and things like that. Yes, I do. It helps me out. Okay, another one, because we only have 30 minutes, so I'm kind of rushing through this, sorry. Google Lesson Plans. So Google Apps for Education, you have to go through a Google Academy. There's lots and lots of thousands and thousands of teachers all over the world who have gone to Google Academies. And one of the things they do at Google Academies is they create lesson plans with all the Google apps. So Google Lesson Plans has given you an option to where you can go and you can not only can you go on there and find lesson plans, but it's a great way to figure out the rest of the apps, the hundreds of apps. It's a great way because you can go for teachers who have already created these, and then what you can do is you can go and you can look at these apps, and then it gives you a way to go ahead and explore the app. So you have thousands and thousands. It's by subject. You have things that match the Common Core if that's something you're worried about. There's for math, science, social studies, everything. So it saves you so much time. The Google Academy is for star teachers. You have to go through an application process that is really rigorous. So you can guarantee that the lesson plans are going to be quite good. They're going to explain everything. and they're going to be very, very, very detailed as well. So you can go by grade level as well. So 8, 9, and 10 all are integrated together. So I'm going to show you these quite quickly. This is something called Google Hangouts. It is my favorite, Hangouts on Air. I absolutely love it. It saves me so much time. I will tell you why. Google Plus and Google Games. Within that is the number 11 that isn't shown here, which is Google Communities. So let me tell you what this is. These are the kind of features. Once you sign up for a Google Plus account, and I suggest you do, because Google Plus is amazing. A lot of people say Google Plus isn't that great, but that's because they don't use it and they don't know. Google Plus saves you so much time. There's so many things that it does, and it integrates so many apps, and it gives you, you can create, now it's 13 and up, the age level, so you can create a class page, and it's one of the best LMS tools that I have found out there. So I do a lot of small, massive open online courses and train teachers online for 5 weeks, 200 teachers. So I'm always trying to find the fastest, easiest thing to moderate. And it works really well with classes as well. I can have hundreds of students that I work with, and I can put them in these Google Plus communities. So this is what I'll show you. It has real-time video chat and sharing on the platform. It's all in one platform. And if you work online, then you realize that when you have everything on a platform, it's such a treasure and a gem, because you can just, you don't have to do so much. You don't have to go from here to there. Your students don't have to register for 10 zillion sites. They can register for one and have it all access to them. They get real video time chat, sharing. They can play games. They can, I don't even know what happened here. Sorry, the links are done. They can create documents together. They can watch YouTube and discuss it. They can share and discuss. They can share photos with one another. It connects to YouTube. It connects to so many different types of apps available to them. This is what it sort of looks like when you get on Google Plus. You can go, and I have a whole entire webinar on Google Plus. So that, I'm not going to go into Google Plus. I'm just going to kind of run through it. But this is your newest bar where you can find things. This is where you can do Hangouts, you can explore. It sort of looks like Facebook a little. It's better than Facebook because once you put in a status update, you can go back and you can edit your status update. You cannot do that with Facebook. You can edit a comment, but you can't edit a status update. You can tag people in the communities. You cannot do that with a Facebook group. You can't go and you can't necessarily tag people on a page or anything. But with Google Plus, you can do that. You can tag different people. You can have more than one page. You can put things into circles. You have photos, all kinds of things. Over here is where you have more things. You can upload videos. What you do here is +1 is the same thing as liking something. You can see who's having a hangout in your community, and then you can see more options here. You can chat. So if you put people in a circle, and I'll show you what a circle is in a little bit, you can put classes all in one circle, and then you can only have a chat with that circle of groups. So you can have a private chat, which is really quite incredible. Now they have something where it's a huge cover. It looks much nicer, but I did want to show you this. This is a little bit older. Sorry, I should have updated this. But it makes it a nice profile as well. So you can share this as a professional profile. And I often share my Google Plus as a professional profile. I don't have to make a new one. You can't do that with Facebook. You can't show it as your wonderful, nice profile. But you can here. It gives you a nice page. You can put different pictures that show you into action. It gives you a small little synopsis. You can put about and in the list. It gives you all these things, so where you can put an online resume that looks very complete and really nice. This is what circles look like. You can call it class 1A, class 1B, English, 9 a.m., whatever you want to call the circle. You put the circle with all your students go in a reel. You can have individual classes, and then within that you can have them have small groups. So then they can create circles if they have a Google Plus account, and then they can go and they can create small groups to work on, and then they can work online and things like that. You share the links to specific circles. So that's very, 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 very useful to be able to just put on a wiki or put on a Google Plus site all of the links for all the groups out there, all the small groups. It makes it very easy to organize. You can have temporary circles. So students are in a group of 4 or 5, then all of a sudden they can be in a group, in a different group. It doesn't matter. You can get rid of the circle. So no, only if you want to. It's up to you. So Peggy asked a good question. You share links in a small group, did they also get shared with the larger group? No. That's up to you. Only if you share it on a public site where everybody has access to it, then it gets shared in that group. But you don't have to share it with the group. Google here will, Google, it'll show you. You can go ahead and you can decide on the Google Hangout a preview. But now there's so many options. So you can put the option, if you go at the settings right away and you create a Google Hangout, they actually have a Hangout with Extra, and they give you the option. It looks more updated than this, but it tells you, do you want to live stream on YouTube? Okay, so what does that mean? Google Hangout is like Skype, except you have up to 10 people. That includes yourself, so you have 9 additional videos that can be, and it's absolutely free. And you have so many more options than Skype, so I like it a lot better than Skype. The great thing about Google Hangouts is that you can automatically record your brainstorming session. So when I have my students get into these small groups and they have their brainstorming session, I can make sure it's on task because I tell them, you have to record it. As soon as they record it, it automatically gets uploaded to YouTube. So it saves me time. It's not where I screencast it because I do have eCam that I have purchased for my Skype. And so I can record, interviews and videos like that. But then I have to, on top of that, I have to upload that to YouTube. With this Google Plus, I don't have to do any of that. It automatically records everything. It puts it on YouTube. You can add to where YouTube makes it private. So I only have the link. And then I can see where my students went ahead and they collaborated. I can make sure they were on task. I can look at the different work that they did. It's sort of like a screen share and everything. And that becomes part of the project work. I can see what they did online. So you can share, you can do other things with Google Plus as well. You can chat all together. You can watch different types, any YouTube, and then you can chat and you can have discussions about it. So I can invite the class and we can have a discussion and we can talk about what being on a TED Talk, for example, and we can talk about this. We can see different movie clips, but that's not all they can do. We can do other things as well. We can invite guest speakers. We can discuss a topic. We can have group games. We can have group feedback. We can work on a Google document together. We can upload different writings and then we can talk about feedback. I can give them feedback, or we can all have peer editing. We can have class debates. We can have where one school has a debate versus another school across the country that has a debate on a topic. We can have Christmas parties and we all get on our webcams and we can see each other Christmas party. There's so many things that you can do with it. Google Games. So you can have where they can play different types of games together. You can have different classes play games. These are social interaction games, and they teach you things. I'll show you the different types of games. So that you have all kinds of different games that your students can play. Action, adventure. You can set it up like this where you have it in the big screen. That's how you usually have it. And if you have a computer lab, then they can go, or they can share. They can be in pairs and they can play the same game together. Or they don't even have to do that. They can do this at home and you all can play the same game. You would say, why do I want to do that? Well, let's say you're teaching history. You can do City of Wonder. City of Wonder, they have to build a city. They have to do planning. They have to do organization. So they can do things such as, this will teach with language. I teach English language learners. So all of these are pretty wonderful for teaching English. Not only that, they also teach other things. They teach history. You have Cityville, Happy Kingdom, teaches about the past and history and the monarchy, and you have things like feudalism and things like that. So they go through all of that. City of Wonder as well. It's like ancient Roman planning, so you can teach a lot. Millionaire City, Happy Kingdom, City Wonder, Cityville, all of these have math concepts that you can teach as well. You can teach about city planning. So there's so many different things that you can integrate with teaching them as well. Here's what things you can invite others. You can do this outside of class as well. And then it's 13 years old and older for all of this. There's even more Google things out there that I recommend. There's Google Play Store with thousands and thousands of apps out there. The Google Play Store is basically mobile apps. So you'll see it on any of your devices, like your Android devices. You'll see here where it says the Play Store. Right there, the Play Store. And then when you open the Play Store, it's gonna go ahead. It's a free app. But when you have the Play Store, it shows you all kinds of things: Google Books, Google Music, all kinds of free things. In Google Books, you have free access to books, audiobooks, all kinds of stuff. Research as well. You have two free apps. There's a lot of it's free to create an app in the Google Market, so there's tons and tons of apps out there. You have Blogger. Blogger is a fantastic blogging platform. You can email posts, so it's kind of taking the way of posters because you can email posts, and whatever you put in your email automatically posts to Blogger. You have Google Maps, which is really wonderful. You can have it on you can embed it on a wiki or on a blog, and you can have all your students maybe teach online classes. They can put where they're from around the world. You can use it, for example, if you're blogging and then you have comments, then you can actually pinpoint where in the world these comments come from, and your students find that very energizing and very motivating because they want to see where all these wonderful comments are from. They love it. Gmail is very intuitive. In my Gmail, every time it comes up with a date or something, it says, do you want to add it to the Google Calendar? So I think it's awesome. It even suggests if I try to put things, you can make Google, Kim Burke asked, can you make Google Blogger private? Yes, you can do that. It is good use for younger students, but to be honest, Kid Blog is my favorite. It took me 10 minutes to make 20 different kid blogs the other day for 20 kids. So I don't have a kid blog. You can do it mobilely as well. So honestly, for kids, I would say kid blog. It's so amazing. It's so fast and easy for teachers as well. And the kids don't have to have an email address to do kid blog. For Blogger, they do have to have an email address. But if you're using Google Apps, then it would make sense that they have a Google. Well, actually, that's not true. You can get on with Google Apps for Education. Now, Google Apps for Education is where your whole school gets integrated with Google Apps. And once that happens, then you don't necessarily emails, Google emails, to use all of this. So if your students do have all Google emails, then yeah, that's a good point, Kim, that you can use Google Blogger. You can use all the Google apps and the tools. So then that makes it easy. Picasa is their internet uploading to the photos. And then the great thing about it is it'll show up on your Android phone as well. I haven't figured out why it does that or how it does, but it just does it. Stores it in the cloud. You can tag people. The great thing about Picasa is that an editor. So you can actually edit things. You can make things private. You can make private photo albums as well. Create a doodle. It's a project where all the doodles, students get to make them all over the world. You can create Google events. There's Google Translate. And Google Translate just got offline. So this is really fantastic news. It just happened that Google Translate now, that if you get it on your Android device, then you can download packages offline. This is so fantastic. You can travel to other countries and you don't have to have an internet connection. You can translate things. Google Translate will automatically translate it, and it's all available offline. I have not found a translation app that does that without you having to pay. But Google Translate, you can do that and you don't have to pay. So that's really wonderful. World Wonders Project. This is where you can travel all over the world. You can see real-time 360, and your students can have virtual field trips. There's also Google Lit trips. There's so many different things out there. So you can go to the google.com Intel products, and you can see all the zillions and zillions of products they have out there. They even have their own learning management system. They have their own thing like Moodle. It's really nice. They have Google Groups. They have so many different things that I didn't tell you about. Now you might say, well, you know, Shelley, there's a lot of different things that you just told us about, but how are we going to figure out how to use them? Well, this is quite easy. If you go to the Richard Burns site, the free tech for teachers, Richard Burns is the Google tools guru. He goes all over the world. He's been to the Google Academy, and he gives you all these free ebooks on using the books, Google Docs, Google Maps, all these free guides. He gives you lesson plans. He lets you know 1,000 different things on how to use Google Tools. He has everything written there for you. So that would be really wonderful as well. Okay, and Peggy just has given us a really good link. I'll bookmark that with the rest of the tools, which is Matt Hardy, and he demos great features. I've also added how to integrate Google Apps, a step-by-step guide. That's going to be the last thing on this Google Tools that has been bookmarked. So you can go and you can go to my Digo bookmarks. It's actually category because every time I see any news or anything about Google Tools, I go ahead and I go ahead and I bookmark them because I just love Google Tools in general. So you can find all of that if you go to G Tools. And thank you so much for being here. I have to jet off because I have dinner to eat, and they're kind of waiting for me. But have a great Easter, a good Friday, and a great, great weekend. If you need any more tips or anything like that, you can go ahead and you can find it here. You can find it on these bookmarks. And then you can get, if you go to the bit.ly address, bit.elt links, you can go ahead and you can get your webinar certificate for attending today and for all the other webinars that you missed. We have free recordings. You just go to American TESOL, and we've done over 150, over 100 webinars, so you can find something on every single topic that you would like. Thank you so much for coming, and